So when Lisa Leslie is on Angel Reese's podcast and gets asked anything you would want me to work on going into year 2, Lisa Leslie has a laundry list she's already written out. Your layups suck. Your layups suck. You can't finish. You can't finish. You can't. Lisa Leslie had a huge list.
Ever wonder what happens when a basketball star's ego outgrows her skills? Angel Reese's new podcast, Unapologetically Angel, is giving us front row seats to that exact spectacle, and boy, is it a doozy.
I don't know what the scouts were looking at. I really don't. But following the 7, God has a plan, and it is what it is, and you ended up Chicago, but I'm just telling you.
Going into season...
You were ready.
Thank you. Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
From WNBA legends roasting her layups to dismal viewership numbers, Reese's attempt to stay relevant is backfiring in the most cringe-worthy way possible. You won't believe what her own mentor Lisa Leslie had to say about her game. Stick around as we dive into this train wreck that's got the basketball world buzzing. Are you ready? Let's go. You know what wild Angel Reese can't seem to shake off Caitlin Clark's shadow even on her own. Turf Reese launched Unapologetically Angel to give fans a peek into her life beyond the court, but it's turned into an unexpected comedy of errors every single episode. No matter who's sitting across from her or what topic they start with, somehow ends up circling back to the one and only Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese on the Unapologetically Clout-Chasing Caitlin Clark podcast. I think that's what it's called. Unapologetic Clout-Chasing of Caitlin Clark podcast. Hosted by Angel Reese.
It's like Clark has become this invisible guest star that Reese can't escape. Is it the guests who keep bringing her up, or is Reese subconsciously steering the ship towards Clark Island? We've got to wonder what's really going on in Reese's head. Is it a case of intense rivalry, secret admiration, or is Clark just that much of a dominant force in women's basketball right now?
So when you say Cheryl swoops Caitlin Clark, it's like, oh my goodness, Cheryl doesn't like her, so let's see what this is about. And all of that's stupid to me. Mm-hmm. It's not true. It's all stupid. And also, now they may be mad when I say this, because it's funny to me. When I look at the number 22s in the league, I was 22, Asia's 22, Caitlin's 22. Those are some hell of a good number 22s. Mm-hmm. And we're all a part of the Nike family.
Let's break it down episode after episode. We're seeing this pattern unfold. 1 minute Reese is chatting about her favorite pregame rituals. And the next bam, someone's gushing about Clark's latest record-breaking performance. It's almost comical how predictable it's become. Fans on social media are having a field day with it, suggesting the podcast should be rebranded as the Caitlin Clark Show, hosted by Angel Reese.
Because of women's basketball, whenever you think of Angel Reese, people often mention Caitlin Clark. You've said in interviews, there's no beef, but the media keeps going on. This is your platform, so how do you feel about that situation?
I think just being able to be in that moment of it happening, you never realize how something can literally change your life. And knowing my 5 fingers and my other finger pointing at my hand could literally have changed my life for forever is crazy.
But here's where it gets interesting. This Clark-centric content might actually be doing Reese a favor. Think about it. Every time Clark's name comes up, it's drawing more attention to Reese's podcast. Basketball analysts are noticing, too, pointing out how Reese's attempts to highlight her own journey often get overshadowed by discussions of Clark's achievements.
Why do you think people love Caitlin Clark, besides her skills?
She can shoot threes from logo.
We never seen that before. That's my point. Steph Curry, a little kid. Steph Curry, I love. You know why I love Steph Curry? Because I've never seen that before.
You've got to wonder what this is doing to Reese's image and the goals she had for her podcast. Did she set out to create a platform where she'd constantly be compared to Clark, or is this just an unexpected twist in the Angel Reese story? It's a fine line between staying relevant and becoming obsessed. And right now, it's hard to tell which side Reese is landing on. Are you ready to hear what Reese's so-called mentor said about her?
Lisa Leslie appears on Angel Reese's podcast, Unapologetically Angel. She gives Angels some advice. Just a hint, it has to do with her layups.
Angel Reese's podcast, Unapologetically Angel. She gives Angel some advice. Just a hint, it has to do with her layups. You thought the Caitlin Clark comparisons were tough. Well, Angel Reese's latest podcast episode just took an unexpected turn into Awkward City when WNBA legend Lisa Leslie stepped into the unapologetically Angel studio, fans probably expected some lighthearted banter and maybe a few nuggets of wisdom. Instead, they got a front row seat to what can only be described as a public roasting session. Leslie apparently not one for sugar. Coding decided to keep it real, and I mean really real.
Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period.
Let's break this down, shall we? Leslie, a two-time WNBA champ and arguably one of the most dominant players in women's basketball history, didn't waste any time getting to the point she looked Reese dead in the eye and dropped this truth bomb. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period. Ouch. Can you imagine sitting there trying to host your own show while your basketball idol basically tells you that your fundamental skills need serious work, but wait, it gets better or worse depending on how you look at it.
It's just a fact. She is, it's more than a fact. She is not good at layups. But I was looking at her stats. I jotted some down right here, and she shoots an abysmal 39% from the field. She shot below 50% on shots less than 5 feet away, which is bad. And even worse than that is that shots from 5 to 9 feet, 13%.
Leslie didn't stop at just critiquing Reese's layup form. She went full statistician on us, pointing out that Reese averaged a measly 39. 1% from the field during her rookie season. For those of you who aren't basketball nerds, that's not great, especially when you consider that Reese was shooting below 50% on shots less than 5 feet from the basket. That's like missing half your shot right at the rim, the easiest place to score from.
This is like WNBA leveling up and all eyes on her now. I think that she knows that she has to completely restructure her form because that is not the way to be efficient in the post position that she is in. At the post position that she's in, a layup is supposed to be a given. She needs to improve her touch around the rim, all over the place, but she seems to take these desperation shots.
Now picture this scene, Reese, probably sweating bullets, trying to maintain her cool, as Leslie just keeps dishing out these harsh truths. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. But you can't look away. The awkward tension in that studio must have been thick enough to cut with a knife. Remember, this is the same Angel Reese that faced stat padding allegations all season long, to the point her coach got fired even.
Kennedy Carter Instagram account right here, guys, and I'm here to tell you, bruh, she been going on a little rant all night long. Now, this is the tweet right here that kind of sparked everything. She stated, I think the ability to consistently make layups just put anyone in a different tier. So important to score easy. Now, a lot of people is insinuating that this tweet is towards Angel Reese.
Here's the thing about pro athletes: they love to spill the tea on social media. And when it comes to the Chicago Sky, Carter just turned up the heat to boiling point. Those vague tweets that make you go, wait, what's the real story here? Well, Carter dropped a doozy that had everyone connecting the dots faster than you can say layup. Carter tweeted about the importance of making layups innocent enough. Right, wrong, see, Angel Reese had been struggling with layups all season. We're talking a success rate of 42. For percent the worst in the WNBA, that's not just bad, that's maybe you should try underhand bad. Out of 321 attempts, Reese only managed to sink 136. Ouch.
It's like I've been telling y'all, bro. She has been making it her business to sneak this Angel Reese every chance she get. Now, since she's been cut, it look even more obvious. Somebody said, LOL, you ate down. Now, this tweet right here just popped up here. Somebody tried to come into the defense of her because we know she's a free agent. So, if you throw ex-teammates under the bus, that's going to hurt you even more.
But wait, there's more. When a fan shared a graphic showing these layup percentages, Carter couldn't resist commenting translation. For those who don't speak Twitter, you nailed it. Not going to lie subtle as a sledgehammer. Right, this public critique isn't just about Reese's layups or shooting percentages. It speaks to broader concerns about her playing style and approach to the game. When someone of Leslie's caliber takes the time to break down your weaknesses in such detail, it's a sign that these issues are more than just rookie jitters or minor flaws.
Has nobody mentioned this to Angel Reese through 17 to 23 years old? So every time she would meet a legend or meet somebody in the WNBA, meet a player, instead of saying, "Hey, Angel, let me talk to you real quick," instead of looking out for her, you guys just do this again, because it's okay. It's okay.
What this does to Reese's relationship with Leslie, is this the end of a mentorship, or could it be the wake-up call Rays desperately needs? Because let's face it, when a legend like Lisa Leslie tells you to fix something, you'd better listen. But you know what, this wasn't the first time someone called Reese in her own show. Just when you thought Angel Reese's podcast couldn't get more awkward, enter Shaquille O'Neal, her self-proclaimed father figure, but instead of offering a shoulder to cry on after, Leslie's critique Shaq came ready to drop some truth bombs of his own. And let me tell you, these weren't your average fatherly nuggets of wisdom.
She can't be rookie of the year because all she do is do the flip shots, get rebound. Just remember all that shit that they say.
You'd think having a legend like Shaw in your corner would be a dream come true, right? Well, for Angel Reese, it turned into a bit of a nightmare. O'Neal didn't just critique her game. He went full savage mode, leaving Reese and her fans stunned.
You know who you are? You're the female Antoine Jameson. You know who Antoine Jameson is? He got 20,000 points with his shot. Whatever your shot is. Like, everybody's shot ain't gonna be Steph Curry. Your shot is your shot.
Let's start with a comparison that had everyone's jaws on the floor. Shaw like an angel to wait for it. Anton Jameson. Now, if you're scratching your head wondering who, you're not alone. Jameson had a solid NBA career, sure, but he's not exactly Hall of Fame material. This comparison wasn't just unexpected. It was a straight-up reality check for Reese, who's probably been dreaming of GOAT status. But Shaq wasn't done. He took aim at Reese's layup technique, and he didn't pull any punches. She can't be rookie of the year because all she do is do the flip shots. O'Neal said, not mincing words. Ouch, that's got a sting, especially coming from a guy who dominated the paint like nobody's business.
He called her Antoine Jameson. Most people, trust me, she was offended.
She didn't know who that was.
She probably does. She's a basketball fan. She probably does. But I mean, Antoine Jameson ain't cracking nobody's top 200 in NBA history. And this woman thinks she's one of the greatest WNBA players or greatest women's basketball player of all time.
You know what's wild? This public roasting session wasn't just Shaq being Shaw. It was his way of giving Reese a wake-up call. O'Neal's tough love approach is legendary, and he clearly believes Reese has the potential to be great. But potential doesn't mean squat if you're not willing to put in the work and address your weaknesses. Shaq told Reese to stop comparing herself to others, yet he's the one who brought up the Jameson comparison. It's like he's saying, don't worry about what others are doing, but also you're not as good as you think you are. Talk about mixed messages.
Shaq just called her a role player, not a star, certainly not a superstar, not a legend. Hey, you remind me of Antoine Jameson. Oh, nice player. Put up 20,000 points. No one's really heard of him. I think Antoine played at North Carolina. Anyway, Shaq slams Angel Reese to her face.
This whole situation puts Reese in a tough spot. On one hand, she's got one of the greatest centers of all time, taking an interest in her career that's huge, but on the other hand, having your flaws exposed on your own podcast. That's got to be humbling, to say the least. Here's the thing, though, as cringeworthy as this podcast episode was, it might be exactly what Angel Reese needs. Sometimes it takes a harsh dose of reality to light a fire under you. And who better to deliver that reality check than
Shaquille O'Neal knows talent when he sees it. Shaquille O'Neal knows a baller when he sees it.
The big question now is, how will Reese respond? Will she take Shaq's critique to heart and work on improving her game? Or will she brush it off and continue down the same path? Her reaction to this public tough love could be a defining moment in her young career.
If Angel Reese has only heard your form is awful from us, the internet conglomerate, from the Twitter conglomerate, if that is the only time Angel Reese has heard her form is shaky, her release is like she's shot putting on these layups, if that's the only, everybody in her life has let her down.
Turns out Shaq's critique might be the least of Angel Reese's problems. Right now, the new 3-on-3 league, Unrivaled, is living up to its name in all the wrong ways. Remember, when Reese claimed to be the reason people tune into women's basketball, well, she was supposed to be the biggest draw of the new league. Well, the numbers are in, and they're painting a very different picture. Let's Talk ratings Unrivaled is barely scraping by with 100,000 viewers per game after its opening weekend. That's not just bad, it's catastrophic. We're talking about a show featuring one of the most talked about names in women's basketball, and it's pulling in fewer viewers than your average cat video on TikTok. We'll see you in the next one.
Yes, it is unrivaled. It is also unwatched. Look, let's be honest. We can sugarcoat it all you want, but if you don't have Caitlin Clark playing women's basketball, or if you're not the NCAA tournament playing women's basketball, you got nothing. Zero zip, nothing. Angel Reese may be playing in the league, but who wants to see a goofy 6'6" woman miss layups? Not I.